and our info for our leads forums. If you guys want to JV with us, we are welcome and we'll gladly help you with your leads. You guys can hear me, right?
Yeah, we got you, right.
Okay, I don't know why I couldn't hear you guys for a second.
No worries. I'll get started. So sweet. We got 69 people and growing. Love to see that. Angie, can you make me co-host?
And yes, thank you, Stevie. I will put Angie's
Yeah, I'm gonna do all that.
I
I'll
did
do
it
all that.
already.
Okay. I'll shout it out again.
Yeah.
Sweet. Okay. We are going to go ahead and get started. I got people trying to sell me skip tracing. So yeah, shout out to you guys, man. On a Friday afternoon, I guess we're right at noon, but yeah, shout out to you guys. We have 74 people in here now. So just love to see this many people taking action, trying to further their education about learning real estate and investing. It is Pace named this challenge so brilliantly because real estate is such a huge thing. There's a million different niches. You can do land, you can flip, you can do commercial, you can wholesale, right? So many different avenues, so many different ways to get started. And how do you get started? The same way you eat an elephant, right? One bite at a time. That's how this challenge came about. So just wanted to also ask if this is your first time in our Zoom, in the Herd of Profits Zoom with us, if you guys could type 1 in the chat if you've never been in our Zoom before. Look at that. We're exploding. So many new people. Love that. Thank you guys for showing up. If you've been in one of our Zooms at least before, if you could type a 2 in the chat. And actually, before I show this, let me shout out. So yeah, love to see it. Let me shout out. So some of my normal people that are in here, we've been running Zooms for over a year now for newbies. Baby elephants is what they call them. So we've been in sub 2 for quite a while now. I'll introduce our team again too. Angie is the boss lady. She has been a real estate agent for over 18 years and a broker for 8 years in the traditional real estate side of things here in Colorado. Has transacted on hundreds of homes here, if not more. And then Dom is our silent leader of the group. He has been an agent for 8 years as well, probably same thing, hundreds of transactions. He has also started multi-million-dollar telecommunication businesses and has been successful in business for years. So he is who at least I rely on for a lot of business questions that we have. And then their son, who is one of my best friends, Joey, he is actually probably on a boat right now in Lake McConaughey, living it up. So he's not with us, but me and him basically have the same role. We sort of run the investing side where we do acquisitions, we negotiate with agents and sellers, we underwrite deals, we send contracts, we close deals, we dispo, we find buyers. So we focus a lot on the investing side of the company with Angie and Dom's help, of course. And then Miss Rachel Swartz is our badass integrator. She is our back end of our company. So she helps with setting up systems, making sure you guys are all set. So if you guys ever need anything or have questions, Rachel is your go-to person. She will point you in the right direction and make sure you guys have the resources that you need. And then my guy, Travis, I know he's in here somewhere. I think he's right across the wall from me, but he is another one of our badass integrators. He has built out our CRM for us. Very intelligent guy, has done some flips in Hawaii. He is a veteran. So thank you for your service, Travis. But yeah, Travis is very smart as far as integration, setting up systems and processes goes. And that is our team. That's my twin brother. I just had to shout him out. That's my twin brother. He is also looking to get into real estate. Me and him bought a house back 3 years ago. We were both 23 years old and we currently house hack it. We rent it out to some friends and we have a $600,000 home here in Colorado that we pay $400 a month for. So just getting started though. So let me shout out the rest of my familiar faces. So Miss Stevie Brown is a sub 2 student out of Arizona. She is, I don't know how long she's been in sub 2, but she works very closely with us, calling leads. And you're an agent, right, Stevie? Are you an agent in Arizona? No? Okay, no, I was incorrect on that, but very knowledgeable about the Arizona market and creative finance in general. Miss Diana Costain, everybody. Diana is a gangster, if you guys don't know. She is originally from Canada, was very successful in buying commercial buildings, renovating them, and reselling them. Look, we got some twins in here too. What up, Charles? But yeah, Diana is very successful in business, has started construction companies, renovation and remodel companies, and has been very successful, and now owns a handful of Airbnbs in Arizona and is very successful at that as well too. So if you guys are ever looking for Airbnbs to stay at in Arizona, Diana, she's usually booked up, but she might have a room available for you. Let's see who else we have. Donna Austin is in here very frequently. I see you. Shout out to you. Miss Pansy Sleep looks like she's doing some dishes, but she is amazing. One of the sweetest ladies. Let's see. I got a lot of people to shout out. We're almost at capacity with 100 people, so going to try to go through this quickly. Miss Sessing Anderson is one of the sweetest ladies, the nicest people I have ever worked with. She's a real estate agent out of New York, very familiar with creative finance as well. She works closely with us making phone calls. Thanks, Sessing. Shout out to you, girl. But yeah, a real estate agent in New York too. So if any of you guys are in New York and need a real estate friendly, investor friendly agent in New York, she is your go-to girl. Let's see who else we have. Dewan, seen him in here quite a bit. He is constantly learning. Yep, there he goes, saluting, man. He's constantly in here learning. I don't know much about him, but I see him in here learning and constantly showing up, taking action. So shout out to you, man. Let's see. My guy Jim Molinex is in here. He is a contractor of sorts and does renovations for commercial properties. I think they just finished up a project in Florida. Him and his wife are some of my favorite people. He calls me Smoke Jumper. That's his nickname for me. So he's one of my favorite people. Shout out to Jim. Anastasia Playfair is someone on our team that works very closely with us. Also very sweet, very knowledgeable person. Okay, I'm gonna go quick because there's too many people. Mark Afo is a beast. Ali Abdelaziz is a beast. He's an agent out in Southern Colorado. Zach B, I've seen you a few times.
I see a few on here. I see Garrett Groner. He's in Colorado.
Yep. Garrett's a sub-2 student. Miss Janae Torres.
Amy Slambrook.
Yep. Maria, see you quite often. Mary McGurvey is also a beast. She's on our team that makes calls for us. And I'm sure I'm missing a few people, but if you guys are
Jim Molinex?
in here, yeah, I shouted out Jim. Yep. So
okay.
Okay.
And
so
Ali,
my guy Ali. So okay, so let me move on. First of all, we have our very own Facebook group. So if you guys like our team and want to continue working with us, we have our own Facebook group. It's called Herd of Profits. So I will drop the link again to that in the chat. Dom's got to jump off. He's closing deals. Dom's got a handful of closings coming up this month. So here's our Facebook group. If you guys could join that, I think, oh, look at that. We passed 1,000. So if you guys want to join our Facebook group, this is a good resource for you guys. It's totally free. Doesn't cost any money. If you ever have any questions, you can post them in here. We also have some good resources for you. So if you come over to this files tab, and you guys are welcome to upload documents and resources as well. So common questions and concerns regarding selling on term. So here's maybe how to handle some seller finance questions, seller net sheet. This is a spreadsheet that shows a side-by-side comparison of a seller selling their home on market versus selling it subject to or seller finance. Some common questions about subject to. Here's a script for agent outreach. the foreclosure process, a letter of intent template. We actually have 3 for seller finance, a hybrid, and a subject to. So this is how we send offers. So you guys can download these and start sending offers. We have a deal or no deal. This is an underwriting spreadsheet that you guys can use to underwrite rental properties. Here's our buy box. So if you guys want to find us properties, we're constantly buying. So this is what we are looking to buy. This estimating repair cost is probably one of the best resources we have for you guys. Make sure you download this. This will help you estimate how to figure out what renovations or repairs might cost on a property. So, and then lastly, we are currently live right now on YouTube. So if you guys go to youtube.com and type in Angie Milanazzo right here. So you can see we're live right now. If you come over to this live tab, we have a ton of Zooms in here for you. So we call agents live, we underwrite deals, we do Q&As, a ton of good videos in here for you guys to check out. So I will drop the link to that as well. If you could please take 20 seconds to go and subscribe to Angie's YouTube channel. Where she's at 871. We are on the road to 1,000. If we had 100 people in here all go subscribe, we'd be 30 off. So please go subscribe to Angie's YouTube channel if you can. Totally free, doesn't cost anything. And yeah, that's really all I have as far as getting started. So our plans today, we actually have a ton of leads in our system that we need to follow up on. We have recently sent some offers and we need to follow up with mostly agents. So we're going to be calling agents live and asking them if they got our offer, if they have any questions, or if they'd like to get a contract signed. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. Unfortunately, I can't show you guys our CRM. So I'm going to leave it on this screen, but you guys can watch me go through our leads here. And I'm just going to start hammering these out. So first one. Oh, and then before I get started too, so we have a Zoom every Friday. That's where you guys are at right now. Fridays at noon Mountain Time. We usually pick a topic and just delve deep into that. So today we're just going to be calling agents. Sometimes it's underwriting, comping, really depends, but we usually switch it up every Friday. And then Tuesdays, if you guys can make it next week, Tuesdays at 4 p.m. Mountain Time, we do a Q&A. So you guys are welcome to come and just ask any question in general. It could be about real estate. It could be about dating. I'm better at real estate than I am at dating. So probably ask real estate advice. So anyways, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and get started. I have some leads I got to follow up with. So I'm going to just start there. So we have 31 offers we've sent in the past 48 hours and need to, I'm glad you guys like that. So I'm going to start calling. We sent, 31 leads in the past 48 hours, and those are now ready to be called. So I'm going to start going through them. All right, let's do it. And then, yeah, if you guys have questions, feel free to ask them in the side chat. Rachel and Angie will be helping ask your questions. And then if you guys, today isn't our Q&A, but if you have a very good question where you think a lot of people would benefit from it, and it's one question and it's short and sweet, you can raise your hand. But I would not like to spend a ton of time on Q&A today. Tuesday Zooms are for, so. Okay, so sent an offer to this one. This is Highland Boulevard.
Yeah, will you put the phone close to your mic so we can hear it when you call?
Yes, I will. Yeah, I'm just making sure that this home is still for sale. I'm double checking that it's not pending or anything like that before I make my call. This home is in Texas. It is pending. So good thing I checked that. So I'm going to add a note, pending back in 2 weeks. So let me do that real quick. 2-week follow-up, save, boom, on to the next. Okay. So let's see, Nichols. This is in Oklahoma. Okay, still for sale. Let's see how our offer looked. Looks good. These guys have a decent amount of equity. So just so you know, too, we primarily hunt low equity properties on market. So we're looking for people that have good interest rates and they just recently bought their home within the past 3 years, and maybe they didn't put any money down, or the real estate market in these areas have declined, so they have little to no equity. These make great subject to deals where we will either keep them as rentals or wholesale them. So let me go ahead and give this guy a call. 8453. All right, if you guys could give me a thumbs up if you can hear this. Okay. No answer. I don't leave voice messages. I'm going to double tap him. Okay. The reason I don't leave voice messages, I'm going to send him a text message through our system. Agent, it's just obviously it's a lot easier to reply to a text message than it is to listen to a voicemail and then send a text, right? It's just easier that way. So I always send text messages. This text message is exactly, hey, Michael, my name is Dylan. My company sent you a letter of intent for address. I just want to confirm you received that or had a chance to present it to your client. Let me know. Thanks. Now I have the address in the text message. So if he calls me back randomly, I can pull up that text message and see what address he's calling about. Because that happens pretty frequently where we don't know what address they're calling about, and we look at a lot of real estate every day. So all right, on to the next one. Let's see, sent this offer. This is in Texas. Okay, still available. Let me pull up the offer that we sent. This is Hayden. Okay. This is a very good lead. So these guys have negative equity. If they sell their home at their current asking price, they will lose money. So this is an ideal situation for a subject to transaction. So let's go ahead and give Mr. Jonathan a call. If my phone will work. There it goes. Automated. Instantly forwarded. Try again. Instantly forwarded again. Okay, so I'm just going to send him a text message. One of these guys will answer. Just be patient with us. So leave a note, send text, and then move him into my daily follow-up. Boom, boom, boom. All right, next one. Okay. Check my notes. Okay, it looks like Artie, or no, Joey. One of these guys have already followed up with him, so I'm going to skip that one. Let me go to this one. Okay, sent this one a text already. Offer sent. Okay, Sheepshank. And then if you guys are private messaging me, just post it to everybody. Okay, any reason to wait 2 weeks specifically on the pending listings? Yeah, because they're under contract, right? So it might not be. So Sheila, let me read it. Asks, any reason to wait 2 weeks specifically on the pending list? Because they've already signed a contract and they legally can't, like, even if our offer is way better, they can't back out of it to accept ours. So we are just going to follow up in 2 weeks and see if maybe it failed and they're back on the market, or if it closed and then we just remove that lead. So are these direct to seller offers? No, these are direct to agents. So these are on market properties I'm calling. Okay, so this one is still available. Let me pull up the offer. Okay, let's check this one out. Same thing, negative equity. So very good lead for us. And I'm going to call Schuyler. I don't know how you say this guy's name. 437-1059.
Hello, you have reached Skylar Williamson.
Skylar, that makes sense. Okay, and then he immediately sent me a text message that he can't talk, so I'm not going to annoy him. I'm going to send him a text message. Okay, boom. Sent text. Daily follow-up. Okay, keep going here, keep going. Notes, LOI sent. Oh, looks like maybe we sent 2 offers to this guy. Let me see if it's still available. This is in Indiana. So yeah, whatever market you guys are in, we might be a good fit for you, because we are literally marketing and buying homes in almost every major county across the country. There's maybe 5 states we're not marketing in. Do you offer full price? How does that pencil out? Above Zillow price for rentals on the seller net sheet from your Facebook? What are buyer concessions? Yeah, buyer concessions are where it's a buyer's market, right? Buyers have more power than sellers right now. So buyers, typically they do an inspection and they find things wrong with the property. So they ask for concessions. Essentially, they want money back or want money off of the purchase price to make said repairs to the property that they found on the inspection. Jose's in Indy. Nice. Yeah, we really market to every major county. If there's a county with a population above 150,000, we are marketing in that market. So this one is accepting backups. Let me just give this one a call. It doesn't hurt. So they're pending, but it says accepting backups. So they might be not super confident in their current buyer. I'll check that one after, Ollie. For sure, Florida, 100%.
Your call.
Man, these agents, man. Try again.
Your call.
We're striking out. So same thing, just gonna shoot them a text message. This is part of the job, right? People tend to not answer their phone. So send them a text, send text, daily follow-up. Yeah, daily follow-up. Even though they're pending, I still want to give them a call. So let me go to opportunities. I also want to maybe like little sidebar here. One of an amazing way for you guys to get leads sent to you, literally no money out of pocket, is agent outreach, right? So calling agents. Literally, if you guys were on the Elephant Challenge with Pace, our team was on there. We made a couple of live calls. Joey made a call to an agent that completely turned down the idea of subject to for this specific listing that he called. And he simply just asked, do you have any other listings where this might make sense? And literally within 24 hours, we had another one of his listings under contract. So we have a property under contract in Colorado Springs. So always ask, if this isn't a good fit, no worries. Do you have other listings where this might make sense, right? So And then another point too is try to get in with their brokerage. So I just had a Zoom yesterday with a broker that has 20 agents underneath her. And she brought 4 of her agents on the Zoom and just listened to me explain subject to how we buy homes. And this was an amazing broker. Not all of them are like this, but we underwrote a few deals, and then we found one of her listings where subject to would make a great fit for her client and for us. So if you guys have conversations with agents, always try to push, like, you know, my company buys 3 to 6 homes a month, 10 homes a month, however, and we love to make relationships with agencies to be your go-to investor buyers. If it's possible, I'd love to maybe have a quick 30-minute, 15-minute meeting with some agents in your office and show how I can maybe help with some of the listings that you guys might be struggling to sell or that have just been sitting on the market. So just a side note for you guys, that's a great way to source leads, and it's totally free. So if you guys are calling agents, mention that, right? Like, we're buying multiple homes. I'd love to be your go-to investor. So little side note, little sidebar. Okay, so I'm going to keep going. Let's see. Already did that one. Oh, I'm getting a call back. Let's see. Oh, she hung up. Just kidding. Ali, Mr. Ali, what was that lead? Ricardo, let's see. Mr. Ortiz? Yeah. Let's see. Said to call next week. It's next week. Yeah, let's give him a call. Do you want to tell me a little bit about this one, Ollie? If you recall any info about it?
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, I'm driving. So yeah, they had a couple of offers. Also they had a couple of creative offers, but he was looking for a better balance, I guess, for down payment.
Okay.
The property needs no repairs because he did everything. And what happened is he got an inheritance from his mother's. He got his mother's house, so now he needs to get rid of this one.
Got it. Okay, let's give him a call. Yeah, I see you guys asking a lot of questions about what list we're calling. I am calling on market, low equity. So my filters for this, unfortunately, Privy doesn't have this filter, but I'm looking at loan to value, right? So if the value of the home's 100 grand, my loan to value ratio is 80%. So I'm looking for people who have 20% equity or less. That's what I'm looking for on market. These people have their hand raised. Hey, I want to sell. And you know, whatever this situation is, whether it's a divorce, death in the family, relocation for, you know, military or job, right? These people recently bought. They likely put, you know, 0 to 3.5% down. And the real estate market has since come down. So they don't have much equity. So these people are struggling to sell. They're probably 30, 60, 90, 100 days on market, and they can't price drop because there's no room for them. So they're going to have to write a check, or at the very least break even. So we can offer them 5, 10, 15 grand and take over their 3% interest loan. So that's the list I'm calling. But these lists, we've already called them. We've already pitched them subject to, we've already sent them an offer. So this is what I'm calling. And then 2, this is a good question. I think this would benefit everybody for me to answer this. Rinda asks, do you prefer PropStream over Privy? I would say they're 2 totally different programs. We use both. Privy is way better at comping and finding buyers. So if you have a property under contract, Privy's great to find buyers in that area. And it's also great for comping. So if you want to find the price of a home, that's what Privy's great for. PropStream is better at pulling lists. PropStream has a lot more filters. So you can filter for more specific types of homes, specific types of loans, specific types of sellers. Privy just doesn't have as many filters as PropStream has yet, at least. So they're two different things. Okay, let me call Mr. Ricardo. Oh, I typed his number.
Well,
Your call has been forwarded.
We're striking out today, you guys. We'll try to at least get one, and then maybe it open up for a Q&A. All right, so fortunately, send this guy a text, send text, and move him into our daily follow-up. Okay. Let's call this one. This one looks familiar. Agent replied, I have something in the works. They'll follow up. Okay, so let me see this one. He said, this agent replied to my offer and said they already have something in the works. Let's see if it's still available. Nope, under contract. I don't know. Let's, I mean, we're hurting. Might as well give him a call, see if he answers. Howdy, James. Okay, I'm just gonna put this one in daily follow-up. I'm not gonna shoot him a text. I'd like to call him. Howdy, he says. I love that. He's from Ohio too, so you don't hear that much. Okay, let's try this one. Their clients and I are on for follow-up, the reason why, blah, blah, blah. I'm gonna ignore that one. Right on, Charles. No worries, man. Thanks for showing up. Okay. Notes, agent replied to the email, client and I are so follow-up. Okay, LOI sent, pretty good amount of equity. So this one's higher equity, probably not the best fit for us, but we'll still follow up, try to pitch the agent on seeing if we can't schedule a meeting with their brokerage. Yeah, they have roughly 40 grand in equity for a $380,000 home. So a little higher than we'd like to see, but it doesn't hurt to call. So 329 585. Come on, Mackenzie, I need you.
Hey.
Yeah, he doesn't need me. So same thing, gonna send her a text message. This is just how calling goes. Sometimes you call 10 people, all 10 answer. Sometimes you call 50 and no one answers. So at the very least, you guys are learning a little bit about mindset and just how to stay positive. So send text. Daily follow-up. Okay. Mike asks, in the Elephant Challenge, you showed a side-by-side comparison selling to you and listing the property on market. I couldn't figure out why the realtor commission is less than the than the realtor commission of lists on the market, right? Because good question. So if a seller sells their home on market, right, the seller is expected to pay not only their agent but also the buyer's agent. So that commission is going to be anywhere from 4 at the very lowest to 6%, sometimes higher. So with us, right, we come unrepresented, so we don't have a buyer's agent, and then we try to negotiate with the agent. We typically offer them 2%. So that's why our commissions are much lower than if they sold on the market. Let me answer some questions real quick. How long out would you approach someone? Property currently has a tenant, I think, till December, January. I mean, if it's rented out and they're ready to sell right now, I would call them right now. We like turnkey rental properties as long as that's a good tenant, close to market rent, and they've never missed a payment, right? It's a good tenant. That's ideal, right? If we can take over their payment or seller finance and the numbers make sense, we underwrite it, and we're at a 12% or 15% cash on cash return, I'll take over someone's tenant. I'll inherit their tenant. How would someone describe sub 2/ creative finance to an agent simply without overcomplicating with tons of details? Yeah, we have a lot of good videos on how to do that. What I teach my guys is a quick 3 to 5 minute pitch. So one, build rapport with that agent, ask about the property, right? So condition, if there's any rental restrictions, right? Build a little bit of rapport, try to pull motivation. So tell me a story about your client. What are their plans after they sell? Or, you don't want to just say, why are they selling? What's their motivation? You want to ask alternate questions that lead to motivation, right? What's their timeline? How soon are they looking to sell? Oh, they can sit on it for 6 months. Not a ton of motivation, right? So, but try to get motivation out of them. So tell me a story about your client. What's their plan after they sell, something like that. And then tell them you'd like to send them an offer. That's really the best thing, is like, you can pitch subject to, you can go into the weeds of it, but if you put something in front of them, it's a lot easier for them to understand and show their client, right? So that's how we do it, right? I explain to them, I would like to buy or if it's subject to, I would like to buy the home subject to the existing mortgage. Basically, I pay them their equity, I pay the closing costs, I pay your commission, and I take over the payments on their existing mortgage. You'll get more into the weeds, right? Agents will ask you, is that assuming, or what are you talking about, right? You can go into it a little bit more, but I try to keep the conversation as simple as possible on that initial phone call until I get an offer in front of them. John asked, 40K on 380,000 is about 10%. What do you like to see? I like to see negative equity. Like, they're going to lose money. We try to get into these deals where we offer most 6% to the seller, and then we pay the agent 2% and closing costs, right? So we try to get into it for below 10%, ideally below 7% or 0%, right? Linda and Scott ask, can you explain cash on cash? Cash on cash it's exactly how it sounds, right? How much money did I put into the deal versus how much money am I making, right? So cash on my cash. So if I put 100 grand into the property, most investors want at least 12%, right? So if I put 100 grand, I want to make 12,000 in my first year. So that's cash on cash. Yeah, relax, buddy. So yeah, I think we haven't had much success with agents. Maybe they're all at lunch right now. Let's just open it to a Q&A. If any of you guys have questions and you'd like to raise your hand, I will prioritize people that raise their hand and have their cameras on. So go ahead and do that if any of you guys have questions. There's a lot of good, and then yeah, before I start answering these questions, in our Facebook group, if you guys join our Facebook group, we have a files tab, and the deal or no deal spreadsheet is on that files tab. And then two, Terrence, I see you raising your hand. There is a way you can raise your hand on Zoom. If you go to reactions in the bottom, of your screen, there's a button that says raise hand there. Seema, what's your question?
Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you.
Okay, thank you very much. So I have a situation. I was actually filling up the form for you guys. I have been talking to an agent for the last month and a half. This property is in Texas. It's in the market. It's almost 2 years in the market. It's free and clear. So it's definitely it's a seller finance deal. And the owner doesn't live there. They live in California. But now he's a newly diagnosed cancer patient. So actually, I did talk to the agent once already. I mean, to the seller once already, and he disagreed with the seller finance because he doesn't trust me. Of course, I'm a newbie. This will be my first deal if it happens. So I guess he didn't trust me since I'm new in this. So actually, I did talk to a few people here in Texas, but I know everybody is busy and I need someone to help me with the situation. So actually, I was filling up the form with you guys because I had a call scheduled again with the agent and with the seller directly, a Zoom call. This way he get to see my face. By the way, I'm a nurse. Like I said, new to real estate. I haven't done any deals, so I don't have anything showing. But I think it's a great deal. It's 4-acre land, and there's a home that's 2015, so everything is new, up to date. I mean, of course, it can definitely use some touch-ups and some cosmetics. It does have some RV hookups, 4-acre land, like I said, but it's in a very rural area, but there's a small airport nearby. So I can arrange, I need someone to help me. I don't know who can help me. I will fill up the form, and I can arrange a Zoom meeting between all of us. And but I want to know if somebody is willing to do that for me, and
Yeah.
to have my first deal.
Yeah. So, okay. So great question. So let me reiterate and see if I understand. So you have a prospect or a lead in Texas. He lives in California, so he's out of state. Do you know what the occupancy is? It vacant or is it rented?
Vacant.
Vacant. Okay. So it's a vacant home, right? So do you know where he lives? Is he renting? Does he own another home? Anything like that?
He has his own other home.
Okay. So he has another home. So he's just paying probably a mortgage on a home or is it free and clear? Do you know?
It's free and clear, completely free and clear.
Okay. Okay. So, but he is sick, right? So it's on market though, right? He has an agent currently listed.
Correct. That's how I got to the property, by calling agent, and it's been in the market almost 2 years.
2 years. Gotcha. Okay. So first thing that pops up in my head, right, is unfortunately he's sick, right? He's probably got a lot of medical bills. So his motivation is to probably get as much money as possible to help him pay for these medical bills. So that's step number one. And you've presented the idea of seller finance. And are they completely closed off to it? Are they somewhat open to it? What is that conversation sound like?
So when I first presented the seller finance deal, he completely kicked me out. At the time, I think the cancer was not in the picture. The cancer is new in the picture. So now he is willing to consider it at this point because he was pretty confident that he could sell it, because he actually at the beginning of the marketing, he had it for 400 plus. Right now he's below 400. It's like in the 340s, 350s.
Okay.
Nothing is happening. So that's the reason now he's willing to consider the seller finance deal with me.
Okay.
But like
Okay.
I said again, I know if I go for the meeting, he's going to kick me out because he's going to definitely ask me for, credibility packet and this and that, which I don't have it.
Yeah. Yeah. And then John asked a good question. Is it badly overpriced? And he answered it by pretty much by definition after 2 years. So there's two reasons why a home's not selling, right? It's overpriced or it's in bad condition and it's overpriced, right? So really overpriced is always the answer. So for sure, he wants too much money. He's unrealistic. The agent that he's working with is not good at handling his expectations, right? So if you guys don't know, agents don't pick the price that their home's selling for, right? They can give the seller as much information and guidance as possible. But at the end of the day, it's up to that seller how much they want to list their home for, right? So if he's not willing to budge, that's just on him, right? Maybe he's not that motivated. So now I can already tell you with Stima with 90% confidence that this would not be a good lead to continue to spend time on. Simply for the fact that one, he wasn't open to it at all, right? Now he is. For seller finance, right, we need to pick up properties. Again, this goes into underwriting and it can get really into the weeds and it can get complicated and it's hard for newer people to understand. But seller finance is a lot harder to make work than subject to, for example. Seller finance is one of the harder aspects of real estate, even though PACE talks about 0 down, 0% interest, right? Those are few and far between. Sellers who are willing to sell on seller finance want terms similar to a bank or worse than a bank, right? They want 10 to 20% down. They want 6, 7, 8% interest rate, and they want a short balloon, meaning they want you to refinance and get them all their money as soon as possible, like 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, right? So if your seller wants any of those terms, if they want 10 to 20% down, it's not a deal. If they want an interest rate higher than probably 4.5%, it's not a deal. And if they want a balloon shorter than 7 years, it's not a deal. So I can already just guess by maybe he would take a small down payment. But again, my guess is he needs the money to help with his hospital bills. But let's say he was willing to take a low down payment. Then you need to convince them to take a low interest rate, which is also very hard because these guys talk to their tooth fairies, they talk to their agents, their CPAs, their attorneys that all tell them you need to charge what banks are charging. You need to charge 6, 7% interest rate. So even though they might be open to it, they're going to get advice. And this just comes from experience. I have pitched seller finance thousands of times. So I just know how it plays out. So let's say, for example, he is willing to take a low down payment. He is willing to take a 4.5 interest rate. Again, if he's an older guy, he's sick with cancer, he's not going to want to finance you for 10 years, 20 years, right? He wants that money to give to his family, to sail off into the sunset, right? To pay his medical bills. So that's just my guess. Your ideal seller for a seller finance transaction is a tired landlord. So someone that owns 2, 3, 4, 5 rental properties already. They've owned them for 10, 15, 20 years. They're completely paid off and they understand the investor mindset, right? A seller does not understand nor care what an investor needs a home at, right? They don't care if you cash flow. They don't care. But a tired landlord who was an investor and now is just tired of managing it, tired of fixing toilets, tired of chasing down tenants for rent, they would much rather become a bank because they are going to continue to make passive income without any of the work. Does that make sense?
Yes,
That's your ideal scenario. So seller finance is very hard. I'm just telling you guys, being straight up honest, it's extremely hard to convince a homeowner to sell you their home on seller finance. You're better off with finding a landlord or another investor that is up there in age and he's tired of managing it, but he likes monthly cash flow, right? He likes that idea, but he's just tired of working, right? That's your ideal seller for a seller finance scenario. So if I was you, Sima, I wouldn't try to push for with the seller or the agent. I would ask them for their terms, right? So there's 3 levers we like to call in seller finance. There's down payment, there's purchase price, down payment, and monthly payment. And then balloon, I guess, is kind of your 4th lever. But right, so purchase price doesn't matter. I would buy that guy's house for $1 million if he'd let me put 0 down and pay him $1 a month for 1,000,000 months, right? That's a great deal for us, but for him, it doesn't make sense, even though there's $1 million purchase price. So purchase price for us doesn't necessarily matter. Some sellers have it in their mind, I need to sell for this number for whatever reason. You need to figure out how much money does he need? Like, what's the bare minimum he would need to walk away? So either that and or what's his monthly payment? If we sell or finance, how much money do you need per month to pay for bills or anything like that? And then third balloon, how soon do you need me to refinance this? So get those three things first. And if any of them, again, are high down payment, high interest rate, or short balloon, I would just move on to the next one.
I got you. Okay, thank you. That makes sense.
Okay, awesome.
Thank you.
For sure. And I know it's frustrating too. We help a ton of people with their leads where it's just like they've spent months working this guy and now they're open to the idea of seller finance. It's so frustrating, but a bad lead is 100 times worse than a good lead, right? Or sorry, did I say that right? A bad deal is worse than no deal, because you're just going to waste another month, another 2 months trying to convince this guy when he's just not going to give you a deal. So ask him or his agent, I need to know 3 things. How much money does he need to walk away? What interest rate does he need? And how soon does he need me to pay it off? Again, if any of those 3 don't make sense, it's not a deal. Just move on to the next.
I got
Okay.
it. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, Seema. Mr. Terrence, what do you got for me, man?
Hey, thanks, Dalen. So I'm brand new to this group, to Pace's stuff. I've done sub 2 before, about 15 years ago in the Northwest. I did sub 2. I did creative financing. We actually stuck a lot of properties into land trusts and took it down to the courthouse and got them that way. So we even, went around the closing costs. So anyway, my question to you is, so for the houses that you're looking for right now, what's the rental ratio that you're trying to get to make those work? Because you're actually looking for houses that you can pick up. I get the whole deal about, you don't want to have to put any money in them, so you're doing sub 2, so you're taking over all of their expense. But when you take over a $300,000 loan, is that really going to pencil out for a rental?
Good question. Very good question. This goes a lot into underwriting, and out of all of the topics that, and all of the resources on YouTube, this is probably the hardest one for people to, one, find info on and understand it. It goes a lot into underwriting. So the answer to your question is, it just depends. Here in Colorado, it's very tough to find homes that cash flow, simply because, our home prices are a lot higher, and just rent is probably the same as a market like Raleigh, North Carolina, where home prices are almost half of what home prices are here. I need my admins to find the unmuted person for me. So it just comes down to the numbers, right? So if I see they have, let's say, a $300,000 loan, and it's at whatever interest rate, right? So I just need to find their PITI, how much their total payment is, how much the rent is, and then from there, figure out how much money it's going to cost me to get into the deal. So if I can get into it for $0 and I'm at least breaking even, it makes sense, because I can depreciate the property. I'm going to get appreciation and loan pay down. So it makes sense for me to buy that. But if it costs me 30, 40, 50 grand to buy the deal, and I'm only making a couple $100 a month, now it's not the strongest deal. So it just comes down to, how much money does it cost me to get into it versus how much money can I net year after year from rental income. So it just really depends, is the answer.
So I get the fact that, on some of the negative stuff, if you've got a lot of businesses going and that kind of thing, it's nice to have one or two negatives so that you can write the taxes off. It's always great. But when you're just starting and that kind of thing, you're really looking for cash flow. You're looking for an opportunity to be able to make money. So the question I have too is, so if I find a great deal and I turn it over to you, how are we going to make money off of that, deal so that I get a finder's fee, da.
Yeah.
What's your buy box?
Yeah. Great question. So we are, again, like we're open to almost every market in the country. We prefer red states, not because I don't care anything about politics. I care about tenant and landlord laws. Right. Red states tend to lean more friendly towards the landlords. So I prefer to buy in those states, but I live in Colorado. We're definitely a tenant friendly state. And there's some laws up for a vote where we might not ever buy another property here in Colorado. But so that's the first answer. And then I love homes in probably like $350,000 or below. Like I just got a signed contract in Ohio for a $70,000 home. It's a Section 8 property that cash flows $900 a month. It's a subject to deal. I'm taking over this guy's 4.5% rate, and it's a turnkey rental property. So I love turnkey. I don't like properties that need much, if any, work. Obviously, newer builds, the better. But if it's recently remodeled, we'll still look at older homes. It doesn't need to. And here's also a tricky part too. It doesn't need to cash flow from a long-term rental perspective. Have you ever heard of wraparound mortgages, Terrence? Are you familiar with those? So we do a lot of wraps. Wraps, I encourage you guys to here's your guys' homework. Research wraparound mortgages. Once you guys understand wraparound mortgages, your mind will be blown. They are an amazing strategy, especially for newer investors. I'll give you just a quick scenario of one we bought here in Pueblo, Colorado. So on market home, they were listed for roughly $300,000. They weren't selling it. We offered them $10,000 down. We gave the sellers 10 grand. We offered to pay the agent their commission. She got 10 grand. We paid all the closing costs. So we got into this deal for roughly 25 grand, give or take. We took over their 2.6% interest loan. So their monthly payment was like $1,300, taxes and insurance. We bought that home and then we resold it to Miss Radon and Felix, our buyers. They then brought roughly 20 grand down. So we left 5K into it. We didn't lose it, but we left 5K in the deal. But we turned the 2.5 interest rate into a 6.5 interest rate. So we cash flow as a bank. We're a bank. We wrapped a seller finance note around the existing, it's a VA loan, I believe. And now we make roughly $500 to $700 a month as a bank. We don't have to fix that property. If a roof needs to be replaced, it's on them. They own it. We just sit back and make the difference of the interest rate. So that's a wraparound mortgage. So if a property doesn't cash flow from a long-term perspective, we would look at it as a wrap. So that's another exit strategy. Airbnb, or we don't love Airbnbs. If a property is already operating as an Airbnb, then we'll consider buying it. But we do like homes that are 15 minutes or closer to hospitals for traveling nurses. So we can rent rooms out 3 months, 6 months at a time. So a midterm rental is what they call that, corporate rentals. So our buy box is pretty wide, but again, I would say if you guys want to hunt for homes from us, we prefer red states with more affordable markets. So that's $350K average home price or less. That we love creative deals. I'm not really looking for anything cash. So they're willing to let us take over their payment, or they're willing to seller finance, and little to no work needed. So turnkey. If there's a tenant in there, that's even better. And then I'll just list off some of the markets. I have a map in front of me. So Florida, Georgia, South and North Carolina, I don't mind Virginia, West Virginia. I really like Ohio. I really like Indiana. I like, I don't mind Iowa. We'll look at Missouri. We'll look at Kentucky, Tennessee. I like Alabama. I like Louisiana. I like Mississippi, Texas. I love Texas and Oklahoma. Kansas is not so bad. I won't really look at Nebraska, North or South Dakota because no one lives there. It's just corn. Maybe like Duluth, Minnesota, in a major metro area in Minnesota, I'd look at it. Michigan and Illinois, maybe. I like New Mexico. We like Colorado. I don't look at Wyoming or Montana much. I like Idaho. I love Boise. Boise is one of the strongest markets in the country right now. I tend to stay away from Washington and Oregon because of their laws. Same thing with California. I don't
What
really
about
love
Utah?
I like Utah for sure, and Nevada. If I can get an Airbnb or a pad split in Las Vegas, I'd for sure love to pick up a deal there. So that's kind of my buy box. So
Not the North region, huh?
So who do you work with a pad split?
there's a company called Pad Split. We've never done one.
Okay.
We kind of just follow what Pace does. I mean, Pace is looking for pad splits in, I think, Florida and Nevada. So we're gonna, I mean, he knows what he's doing. We're just gonna copy his model. So I think the company's called Pad Split. We haven't done one yet, but we'd love to buy one.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I called and
So
talked to him. It's an interesting deal.
It's very interesting. Yeah, we definitely want to pick one up here this year. So we're looking into it.
Okay, super.
Right on.
Yeah,
Thank
that
you,
kind
Terry.
of gives me a pretty good idea. And yeah, Missouri is an area that I plan on working in also. So
Okay.
that's
Okay.
I like that area too because of the fact, I mean, the houses are like 200K, right?
Love that, man. Yeah, because for wraparound mortgages, again, this is a higher level, but like the cheaper the home, right? If we're talking $60,000 homes, you can wrap a home at 15% interest, and it's still affordable. There's no snowball's chance in hell you can't wrap a $500,000 home at 10% interest, but a $50,000 home, people can afford 15, 16% interest. So it's amazing.
And you don't have a problem with the laws and gouging for interest rate when you do a wrap.
We do our due diligence. We make sure we're not lending predatorily. We do use a registered mortgage loan originator to still like qualify these buyers. But you're right. We are doing it safely to where we're not lending predatorily at all. So.
And do you have the paperwork for the wrap?
Yes, sir. Yep. As sub 2 students, we have just a plethora of resources, contracts, and I have one of the best, probably one of the best transaction coordinators in the country. He's a genius. So I trust him with a lot of our stuff.
Okay. Who do you use?
His name's Caleb Christopher. He primarily, I think, only works with sub 2 students though.
Right.
And then you asked a question about how does someone get paid for bringing us a deal. Actually, all the elephant leaders are going to get on the same pay scale. So it depends on level of work involved. But if you guys just bring us an address, maybe you had a conversation with an agent, and you send us a lead, and that deal, we keep it, we wholesale it, whatever, we'll pay you a finder's fee. All this will be promoted, but I think it's going to be anywhere from $500 to $1,000. So, I mean, you make one phone call. We have plenty of people on our team that have made $1,000, maybe $3,000 in a month because we closed 3 deals on leads they called. So, for sure. And besides the money, right, learning at an accelerated pace, how to negotiate, underwrite all these deals. So.
Okay, super. Yeah, I'll probably be a sub 2 by the end of the month. So
Let's do it. We have actually, there's a referral code. If we can send you a referral code, we get a little credit for it too, if you want to sign up too. So Angie will send that to you.
yeah, I've already got a referral. So
Oh, do you? Okay. No worries. No worries. Sweet. Thanks, Terrence. I appreciate it, man.
Yeah. Hey, thanks a lot. Appreciate your call.
Yeah. Thank you. Mr. Christopher, thanks for being patient, man.
Yeah, and Terrence kind of stole my thunder a little bit because my question was about a deal. I'm meeting with a guy on Saturday. His PITI is 2,500. His interest rate on his loan is $470,000 at 3.63%, and the market rates are like $2,000. So I know you told us like don't worry about that stuff, just pass it off and we'll. But I mean, it's kind of just the same vein of like, is that even worth a deal or like passing it off to you if there's like a $500 delta per month, like out of the gate?
Yeah, right. Yeah, we just went over it. Yeah, I mean, there's different ways you can look at it. So a wrap is possible. Wraps get a lot harder once you pass that 400K range. Because if someone can afford a $500,000 home with a 6.5% interest rate, it's likely they'll qualify for a bank anyways. So wraps do get a lot more complicated above that 450 price range. But if it's close to hospitals and it's got, 3 beds, 3 baths, 4 beds, 4 baths, something like that, you want to see even number of beds and baths. Traveling nurses is a possibility. You can typically rent out rooms to traveling nurses for anywhere from $900 to upwards of $1,500 a month. So if it's got 4 beds and you rent it out for $1,000, now you're at $4,000 a month.
Sick.
Yeah, your expenses are a little higher because you're paying for utilities. There's a little bit more vacancy that tends to happen. So just more to consider there. But yeah, man, if you want to send it out to us, we'll take a look at it.
Yeah, he's a friend of a friend, so I'm just meeting with him on Saturday, and I'm gonna submit him an offer. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, I have one more question that's not real estate related. Is that all right?
Yeah, please.
And I don't know, I'm taking a shot in the dark here because I just saw your YouTube suggested, but what rank are you in Apex?
Oh man, yeah, he goes, what rank are you in Apex? I'm a master's right now, man. I'm in there.
Hell yeah, dude. That's sick.
Yeah.
Sick.
Yeah. Do you play?
I used to. I got a family and I'm trying to build my life, so I don't have much time, but big props for masters. So
thanks, man. Thanks. I appreciate it. I love that.
Anyways.
Yeah. That's funny, man.
Yeah. Cool.
Right on. Thanks, Christopher.
Yep.
Cool. Shout out to him too. I'm always like sketchy when I pull up my YouTube because it's going to be skateboarding videos, video game videos, golf videos. So for sure, those are my passions right there. Love it. All right. Any more questions, you guys? Oh yeah. Kiera, is that how you say it? Kiera? I'll show you guys that. Share your gamer tag. No thanks. No thanks. It's pretty funny, but I shouldn't share it. Trevor, you have a question?
Yes, quick question. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you.
Awesome. When you guys are underwriting the deals, if you're going to an on market deal and a buyer agent or a seller agent is presenting or wanting you to present like a contract to sale, how are you guys pitching the assignment contract compared to, just using a contract to sale and, maybe just doing like a finder's fee that way?
Will you say that again?
Yeah. Sorry, I'm outside. I'm gonna pop inside real quick.
No. I heard it clearly. I just don't know if I understood.
Exactly so for sure. So I'm actually a realtor in Maryland. So I've done a few assignment deals through contract to sale. Where we will just like dash out the assignment clause in the contract to sale and just do a flat rate fee. So if you're presenting them the assignment contract, how are you pitching that compared to normally, because most home market people are going to want to look for a contract to sale. So how are you pitching the assignment contract and compared to, just giving them a regular buyer contract?
And you're talking about like direct to a seller or even direct to an agent?
Yes. Yep.
Okay. It's the same contract. So whether we plan to keep it or whether we plan to wholesale it, there's just a verbiage in the contract that says this contract is assignable. So they're not different contracts for us. It's the same contract. And on top of that, we actually assign every deal, whether we keep it or not. So because we have different entities, this is what we've learned from PACE. So we acquire every property on one LLC. It's called Legacy Property Solutions. That's our acquisitions entity. And whether we're going to wholesale it to another buyer or keep it, we will assign it to another entity that we hold properties under. That's Legacy Property Ventures LLC. So every property that we submit a contract on, it needs to be assignable no matter what. So I don't really mention that to sellers or agents unless I feel the need to. Like if I know for certain, let's say it's a foreclosure deal and I don't want to keep it, I don't see a clear path, I will tell them I'm going to try and assign this. I'll try and find you a buyer. But I'd rather be upfront and honest with them and let them know I will wholesale this. I'm pretty confident I can find a buyer and let them make that decision. But does that answer your question?
I guess I'm just trying to figure out so are you using a contract to sale at all, or it's just an assignment contract and you're doing, it's everything, it's pulling the listing off market pretty much. And you're doing the deal off market and you're paying the commissions off market. So, okay. I think I'm just getting mixed up because the past year and a half, I've been using the contract of sale. And I think just like understanding how to present this contract to on market sellers is what's kind of confused me.
Are you doing cash mostly?
I've done a few cash deals.
Okay. So I actually have a contract I can share with you. This is a contract that came from PACE. It's a cash contract. Angie, can you pass me co-host again? It says it disabled. Sweet. So I can share this contract with you. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to upload this into our Facebook group so you guys can download it. This is for creative finance deals, we use another contract, and I can't share that contract. We signed an NDA as a sub-2 student. I can't share it, but I can share this one. This is a simple cash contract. So it's really just a normal purchase and sale agreement. So address, APN, legal description, right? Earnest money, purchase price, who's the escrow, who's the parties, inspection period, right? Who pays the fees, additional terms and conditions. So if you wanted to use this as like a seller finance contract, you could, and just spell out the terms of the seller finance in this additional terms and conditions. But every contract has this verbiage in here. Assignment. Buyer may assign this contract or any of its rights hereunder to any person, partnership, corporation, or other entity without notice to seller. Seller's consent to such agreement is not necessary or required. This verbiage is on every contract we send out. So every contract we have, it's a purchase and sale agreement that simply is assignable. We don't have assignable and not assignable contracts.
Gotcha.
Cool.
If I'm looking to start, basically my goal, I want to get into creative, but I want to start with the wholesaling and do an off market to learn. The best way, I guess, when I'm submitting that stuff through the Facebook group, do I need a JV for that? And do I handle the contracts, or do you guys typically handle the contracts if it's a deal?
I mean, that's really just the benefit of working with us is if you're brand new and you have no idea how to write a contract or anything, you can submit it to us and we can write, like, we'll do everything. You just send us the lead and we'll do everything. But you as an agent, right, you're pretty familiar with writing contracts. So if it's something where you think you can get it under contract, right, you underwrote it, you're confident with your underwriting skills and know how to make sure it's an actual deal, and you can get it under contract, and now you maybe just need help finding a buyer, that's another part of it, right? So you get it under contract yourself and submit it to us. Either way, you can send us the address and we can underwrite it, negotiate it with the seller and get it under contract, or you can do all of that and then have us help you find a buyer. So it all just depends on where you're at.
Yeah, that's cool. I'm not greedy. I like to make sure I'm doing stuff the right way. So yeah, I appreciate you guys' help. Definitely will be partnering with you guys for the first couple deals. So appreciate it.
Let's do it, man. I love it. Right on. Yeah. Send it over. That's really kind of what we try to promote is, you know, get paid. It's essentially a bird dog, right? That's the idea of the elephant challenge, right? Is it's super hard to get into by yourself, right? If you join a team for 6 months, you will be set almost for life, right? If you join a team for 6 months to a year, you will be set for life. You'll know how to find deals, identify them, negotiate, comp, underwrite, contracts, dispo, find buyers, transaction coordinate. You'll know how to do that after 6 months to a year working closely with a team. So that's really the idea, right? And you don't have to pay anything. You get paid, right? If you can get deals to the closing table, you'll get paid to learn. But that's the idea is to learn. So let me stop share. I got to check my schedule real quick. You guys got to make sure what else we got to do. Okay, we're good. I'm going to take 3 more questions. So Regina, David, and Joe, and then we're going to call it there.
So
I'm being told to wrap it up. Yeah, go ahead, Regina.
On the $500 and the $1,000 you got, the leaders are trying to charge. Is that just giving you a lead and then the do nothing else, or you saying you guys were gonna? That's what that is.
Yeah, and we're not charging you. We'll pay you that. So yeah, if basically you just send us a lead, maybe we prefer you to at least try to contact the agent or the seller and get some information. And then if you do that and send it to us, and we do everything else, yeah, we'll pay you a finder's fee of $500 to $1,000.
But if we work the lead, then we get that assignment fee, the fee that's generally that 45 or whatever we assign to the deal. Assignments. Go ahead.
Well, so if you work the deal, right, what do you need us for, essentially?
The buyer.
To find the buyer. So that's a different thing. So all of us elephant leaders are going to have a meeting here probably next week about different aspects. So, right, if you do everything and get it under contract and now you just need help dispo, we're going to figure out as a community how much we pay or charge to just dispo. For us, like, yeah, I don't want to speak on it too much because all of the elephant leaders are going to get on the same page. So people aren't just shopping their deals to the group that pays the most money. We're all going to basically pay or charge the same exact amount. I'm not sure what it's going to be specifically for us just finding a buyer, because there's also different aspects, right? We could find a buyer and just give them to you and then you finish the rest, or we find the buyer, we help you fill out the assignment contract, and then we coordinate with escrow and title and everybody else involved to get it to the closing line. That's a different thing, right? There's more work involved. So it all depends, but we will have that out next week.
Thank you.
Yep. Thanks, Regina. David.
Hey, so I got a quick question. I got off of one of the other elephant leaders. I got a list that I have to, kind of take back to them if I get anything out of it. But one that I found on their list is, it looks like it was a fix and flip. Now, in your experience, what have you seen when it comes to another investor, as this fix and flipper was, buying the house and then putting it back on, and now they're kind of stuck with it? Have you seen any valuable path with that? I haven't spoke to them yet, so I don't know if what type of hard money or private money, or if it's just them in cash that they're in on it. But do you think that it's something to even pursue, or 9 out of 10 times if they're flipping the house, they're either in on over their heads, or it's not even worth even going towards?
Yeah. Great question and great insight too. You're right. 9 out of 10 times it doesn't make sense, whether they bought it using all of their own money, right? Their goal is to pull as much money as they can, right? So for us, it doesn't make sense. Their ideal buyer is a family that's going to get a conventional loan at full price. And then subject to, you're right, it's either going to be private or hard money with variable interest rate, or a short balloon, and you don't want to take those over. So I would say 99 out of 100 times, it's probably not a good lead. Doesn't hurt to connect and try to build a relationship and still call them. But yeah, they tend to not make sense because those investors want their money, or they need as much money to save their butts because they're way in over their heads, like you said. So
Awesome. Thank you.
thanks, David. All right, last question here, Brandon.
Hey, sorry about that.
No worries.
Yeah, it's I had two questions, but I'll just scale it down just real quick. So I'm super new, by the way. Thank you guys for putting together these Zooms. Fantastic.
For sure. Thanks.
My sister-in-law lives in Dallas, and she's been working with her friend who's a wholesaler. They've gotten like one deal together prior, but they had a new deal that they found, and they are having trouble finding a buyer. And I just wanted to know, because she asked me, hey, if you know anyone, let us know, and we'll cut you in. And I just wanted to know what are the questions that we would ask if something like that fell into your lap to find out if it's really a good deal. If you could just list off some quick questions, that would be great.
Yeah. Is it cash? I'm assuming it's a cash deal.
From what I know, yeah. And I emailed them to get some to get some more details yesterday, but I haven't heard back. So I just kind of wanted to follow up with that and ask them some more pointed questions.
Yeah. I'm assuming it's cash. I'm assuming it's a property that probably needs work, and they're trying to find let's say a fix and flip investor to buy it, who's going to renovate it and then sell it for profit, right? That's just, most wholesalers, that's what they target. So, and then you're asking what questions what would we need to know if that's a good deal or not, right?
Yeah. Like, I don't want to, I want to make sure that I try to make everything as clear as possible. So if I'm actually looking for a buyer for them, I want to be able to ask the right or answer the right questions that a buyer might ask to know if this is even worth their time or my time to look at.
Okay. So good question. So when you're dealing with fix and flip investors, ARV is super important. That stands for after repair value. So they're going to ask you, what's the ARV? That's the very first question. So you have to know what the after repair value is, and you have to be able to back that up. How do you know that? So you need to find comps, right? So similar homes in a half a mile radius that have recently sold within the last 90 days at that price point. So you need to find at least probably 3 comparable homes, and that's same size, same bed bath, or close to the same bed bath, within a half a mile radius, that have all sold for a similar price range. So you need to have an ARV with comparables to back it up. So that's super important. Every buyer is going to ask you that. What's your ARV, and do you have comps? That's the first thing they're going to ask you. And then there's 5 factors that go into a cash fix and flip deal. So really that they care about. So the most important one is renovation, right? What is it going to cost me to fix this property up? And for you, if any of you guys are new, I think just whatever stage you're in, if you have no clue how to estimate repair costs, come to our Facebook group, request to join, go over to this files tab, and download this estimating repair cost PDF. It's an amazing PDF that will basically, at least it's a beginner's guide on how to estimate repair costs. So you take the square footage of the home and you figure out, okay, does it need lipstick? Is it, a medium renovation? Is it destroyed, right? So, and then you multiply the square footage by $20, $40, $60, $80 a square foot, and that's your cost of renovation. So go download that document. So you'll need to guess approximately what the renovation is. And really that's the most important thing. So ARV, comparables, and what's the renovation. From there, they'll be able to make a judgment about if it's a good deal or not. There are other important factors like how soon do they need to close? You know, are there foundation, you know, big ticket items? So know if like it needs a new roof, it has foundation issues, it needs a new sewer, right? So you need to know some of those bigger ticket items. And then, yeah, just so once you know your ARV, when I was talking about the 5 things, so what you do is you take your ARV, you subtract the renovation costs. So that's 1. You subtract your assignment fee, so however much you want to make. We try to shoot for a minimum of 10, ideally 15,000. So subtract those 2 things, then subtract closing costs. So take your ARV and multiply it by 0.08, 0.09. It's 8 to 9% of your ARV is how much it will cost for closing. And then subtract your investor profit. So most investors want to make around 15 to 20% of the ARV. So take your ARV, multiply it by 0.15, 0.2, you subtract that. And then holding costs. So if this is the last thing I'll go into, but if a property needs, let's say 100K worth of work, you can guess that it might take around 100 days. Usually you can spend about $1,000 a day on a flip. So if it needs 60K worth of work, there's going to be 2 months of holding costs. So if they're using a hard money loan, if their taxes are high, their insurance is high, right? There's additional cost in holding. So you'll need to know those things. Once you know your ARV and you subtract those 5 things, you now have what's called your MAO, your maximum allowable offer. And that's where you market that property to a buyer. So if you're confident with your underwriting, and you can present that to a buyer, they should have no questions and they can decide right there or not if they want to buy it.
Excellent. Hey, thanks, Dylan. I appreciate that breakdown.
Sure. Yeah, I kind of went into the weeds a little bit, but for sure, hopefully that helps.
Oh yeah, thank you. I'll save my questions for my other questions for the next one.
Okay. Yeah, no, I appreciate it. Yeah. So shout out to you guys, man. We had 100 people in here. We still have 70 in here listening to me. So that's super exciting. Our next Zoom is Tuesday at 4 p.m. Mountain Time. That's 6 Eastern, 3 Pacific. So if you guys can make it, bring your questions. We'd love to see you there. Again, join our Facebook. Please subscribe to Angie on YouTube. And yeah, keep an eye out for our next Zooms, and we will see you next Tuesday. Peace. See you guys.